Cyber Threat Brief for August 25, 2026. Federal agencies have 48 hours to patch a critical Oracle WebLogic flaw already under active exploitation with a CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, 10.0 severity score. Zimbra operators face a 3-day deadline for a remotely exploitable bug that allows full server takeover. A sophisticated new malware family, called Sync Loader, may signal incoming ransomware attacks with novel password theft tactics. Here's the full breakdown of today's top security stories. Next section, critical alerts. Oracle WebLogic Server Proxy Plugin Improper Access Control, CVE 2026-21962. CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, added CVE 2026-21962 to the Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog, citing active exploitation. The vulnerability allows unauthenticated attackers with network access via HTTP to compromise Oracle HTTP server and WebLogic Server Proxy plugin instances, leading to unauthorized data access or modification. Oracle patched the flaw in January 2026, but exploitation attempts have continued from multiple IP addresses targeting the vulnerability alongside other persistent WebLogic remote code execution flaws, including /14883 and EPSS. The exploit prediction scoring system scores for these flaws range from 93.2% to 100th percentile, with 3 flagged as CISAKAV, Known Exploited Vulnerabilities Catalog, entries previously linked to ransomware campaigns, and 3 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action. Apply Oracle's January 2026 patches immediately. Federal agencies must remediate by August 27, 2026 per BOD 264. Block IP 193.24.123.42 observed in exploitation attempts. Sources: The Hacker News, CISA Security Week. Zimbra Collaboration Suite SNMP Command Injection, CVE 2026-73570. CISA issued a 3-day remediation deadline for CVE 2026-73570, an unauthenticated remote code execution vulnerability in Zimbra Collaboration Suite. The flaw stems from improper sanitization during SNMP notification processing, allowing attackers to execute arbitrary OS commands as the Zimbra user by sending crafted SMTP requests. The vulnerability affects servers with SNMP notifications enabled, a default configuration in vulnerable versions. Poland's CERT Polska warned of active exploitation on August 16, 4 days before CISA's KEV edition. Exploitation gives attackers access to messages, calendars, contacts, and attachments, revealing organizational structure, administrators, vendors, naming conventions, and security processes. Action. Upgrade to Zimbra Collaboration Suite v10.1. 20 release July 20. Federal agencies must patch by end of August 24, 2026. If immediate patching is not possible, disable forgot password functionality across all realms as temporary mitigation. Source: Dark Reading. GitLab Unauthenticated Code Injection, CVE 2026-19478. GitLab released out-of-band fixes for CVE 2026-19478, a critical unauthenticated code injection vulnerability rated CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, 9.4 affecting self-managed community and enterprise editions. The flaw allows remote attackers to alter or delete public projects and user data without credentials or user interaction. Exploitation attempts were observed within days of public disclosure, demonstrating the shrinking window between patch release and active exploitation. Action. Apply GitLab's emergency patches immediately. Review public projects for unauthorized modifications. Monitor for suspicious activity on publicly accessible GitLab instances. Sources: The Hacker News Checkpoint Research. Next section, ransomware and extortion. Sync Loader malware may herald ransomware. Attacks. A sophisticated new malware family named Sync Loader emerged in late July 2026, using novel tactics that may foreshadow more successful ransomware attacks. The malware arrives via phishing emails from attackers who registered their own Microsoft 365 tenant using the OnMicrosoft.com domain structure to impersonate victims' IT service desks. The installer is hosted on official Microsoft Azure storage pages to abuse brand trust. Sync Loader's technical approach is notable. It executes PowerShell instructions in temporary memory, includes a minimalist Python environment, and uses fake Microsoft runtime DLLs. The Python components reduce EDR detection signals, while native DLL, dynamic link library, components enable behaviors impossible in pure Python. The malware includes a system profiler that measures victim network size and Active Directory domain membership, behaviors typically associated with ransomware groups rather than APTs. An out-of-place Python executable in a random folder under app data serves as a detection signal. Action: monitor for Python executables in unusual locations outside standard development project directories. Block execution of PowerShell scripts that install Python environments to %appdata %random folders. Alert on processes querying Active Directory network size and domain enumeration from non-administrative contexts. Source: Dark Reading. Shiny Hunters vs ReliaQuest claim disputed Shiny Hunters added ReliaQuest to its leak site, but provided no substantive proof beyond screenshots showing access to a user account on ReliaQuest. Okta.com/enducer/settings. ReliaQuest published a blog post denying the breach claim, stating Shiny Hunters provided no real proof because they did not gain meaningful access. The incident highlights ongoing extortion attempts by threat actors who leverage minimal access or fabricated claims to pressure victims. Sources: data breaches, Net the Register. Next section: business and infrastructure threats. Mirage 2 FA campaign hits 4,500 organizations. The Mirage 2 FA Phishing as a Service campaign targeted Microsoft 365 accounts at 4,532 unique organizations between 2024 and 2026, with 48% of targeted email addresses potentially compromised. The campaign abuses legitimate Microsoft 365 login flows to bypass two-factor authentication by stealing passwords and session cookies. The United States accounts for 63.7% of victims, with additional activity in India, Singapore, UK, Canada, and Saudi Arabia. Technology, manufacturing, and education sectors were most heavily targeted. Researchers identified more than 9,000 potential compromise events involving cookie and password theft, SSO logins, and 2FA bypass. Session theft extends beyond the initial account through SSO-connected applications and internal workflows, increasing containment costs. Unlike traditional credential phishing, attackers gain access to corporate environments through hijacked user sessions, making swift containment difficult. Action: implement phishing-resistant authentication methods. Deploy behavioral detection for session anomalies. Treat session theft as an identity incident requiring token revocation and identity scope investigation, not just password reset. Integrate real-time threat intelligence feeds for fresh IOCs as attacker infrastructure rotates. Source: The Hacker News. Wordless Loader and Sync Loader deliver Amateur a Stealer via ClickFix. Two new malware families, Wordless Loader and Sync Loader, are being used to deliver next-stage payloads and likely sell access to ransomware groups. Wordless Loader delivers Amateur a Stealer through clear fake campaigns using ClickFix social engineering that tricks victims into running malicious commands disguised as CAPTCHA verification. Attackers compromise legitimate websites and inject base 64 encoded JavaScript blobs that fetch additional code from smart contracts stored on the blockchain, Ether hiding technique. Recent campaigns revamped to use CDN. JSDeliver.net to host malicious JavaScript, abusing the legitimate CDN. The ClickFix command uses canhost to launch hidden CMD. EXE processes, maps remote web DAV shares using pushed, and launches the loader via runlul32. EXE. Advanced variants use canhost. EXE with headless flag to suppress console windows and employ environment variable obfuscation to conceal pushed, runlul32, and remote host names. Action: block web DAV connections to untrusted external shares. Monitor for runlul32. EXE loading DLLs from remote web DAV paths accessed over HTTPS. Alert on canhost. EXE headless executions. Review compromised website list and block abogadosrosarinos.com and 5 additional domains. See show notes for the full list. Source: The Hacker News. E4Del and Pinhole RATs use FTP banners as dead drop resolvers. Threat actors are using FTP banners as dead drop resolvers to deliver 2 previously unreported RATs. E4Del and Pinhole. The technique allows malware stagers to fetch commands directly from FTP protocol initial responses, marking the first observed in the wild use of this method. E4Del is a Node. JS-based RAT embedded within a digitally signed Electron application masquerading as Discord. It supports defense evasion, persistence, system fingerprinting, encrypted command and control communication, interactive reverse shell, screenshot capture, live desktop streaming, file download, and additional payload delivery. The RAT implements a tiered jitter system with 3 dynamic states. Active mode, 200 milliseconds 2s beaconing within first 20 seconds, semi-active mode, 2 5s beaconing between 20-40 seconds, and inactive mode, 5 9s beaconing after 40 seconds. Whole uses high-reputation platforms like Pinterest and SurveyMonkey as DDRs to obtain C2 server details and proxies communication through Cloudflare workers. Action: alert on FTP connections to unknown servers from endpoints. Monitor for Electron applications with suspicious Node.js components. Block FTP banner retrieval IPs 157.254.194.31 and 3 additional domains. See show notes for the full list. Source: The Hacker News. U.S. warns of AI-powered attacks on Siemens PLCs. Government agencies warn that threat actors are using AI to write exploit scripts targeting internet-exposed Siemens S7 series programmable logic controllers used across water, energy, manufacturing, and critical infrastructure sectors. This is an active threat, not theoretical risk. Attackers use legitimate scanning services like Sensis and Zoom-I to identify internet-exposed or insufficiently segmented Siemens S7 PLCs. AI-generated scripts masquerade as legitimate monitoring tools to find exploits. Actors test and refine exploitation techniques against specific PLC models to improve compromise capabilities. Attackers leverage read access to understand target environments, enabling preparation and positioning for future write operations to cause disruption or operational impacts. Exploitation could result in disruption of critical industrial processes, safety incidents, downtime, equipment damage, compromise of sensitive data, compliance violations, and cascading impacts across interconnected systems. Action: remove Siemens S7 series PLCs from internet exposure immediately. Implement network segmentation to isolate ICS, industrial control systems, /OT networks. Deploy application allow listing to block unauthorized scripts. Monitor PLC access logs for unexpected read operations and reconnaissance patterns. Audit use of Sensis and Zoom-I scanning from external IPs targeting your infrastructure. Source: The Hacker News. Next section, Windows/AD security. Keycloak password reset bypass allows account takeover. CVE 2026-18963, Red Hat, and the Keycloak project released patches for CVE 2026-18963, a critical flaw rated 9. 1 CVSS allowing unauthenticated remote attackers to take over any user account, including administrative accounts. By forcing a password reset, vulnerability stems from improper state validation within the reset credentials authentication flow. An attacker sends a specially crafted request to the reset credentials endpoint, causing the authentication session to transition directly to the password update phase without requiring the email sent action token. Successful exploitation results in complete account takeover of any user, including administrative accounts. Fixed versions: Red Hat build of Keycloak 26.4.15, 26.6.6, upstream Keycloak 26.7.2. There is no evidence of active exploitation as of August 24, 2026. Action: update to Keycloak 26.7.2 upstream or RHBK 26.4.15/26.6.6 immediately. Temporary mitigation: disable forgot password functionality across all realms and realm settings. Right arrow login, right arrow forgot password until patched. Apply mitigation to every realm individually. Source: The Hacker News. Next section, General Security News. Latvia Road Traffic Safety Directorate breach affects 1.2 million. Latvia's Road Traffic Safety Directorate, CSDD, confirmed a breach affecting payment records of more than 1.2 million people, roughly 2/3 of Latvia's population and 200,000 organizations. Stolen data included identification numbers, license plates, payment amounts, dates, and addresses. Attackers exploited a vulnerability in an internet-facing system. Source: Checkpoint Research. Secura Internet breach exposes 1.36 million customer accounts. Secura Internet, a Japanese cloud and hosting provider, disclosed unauthorized access involving rental server environments and a separate sales management system. Up to 1.36 million customer accounts may have been exposed. Attackers also accessed hundreds of rental server accounts and installed malware on affected environments. Source: Checkpoint Research. Apollo Global data breach via social engineering. Private equity giant Apollo Global Management disclosed a data breach exposing names, contact information, and SSNs following a social engineering attack that enabled threat actors to access cloud platforms between July 6-10. Apollo appears to be a victim of the UNC 6671/Black File Phishing campaign, targeting private equity, financial services, and professional services sectors using IT help desk-themed attacks. The Black File Group received over $10 million in Bitcoin ransom payments between January and May 2026. Multiple organizations including Blackstone, Bain Capital, KKR, TPG, Bridgewater Associates, Point72, Citadel, Two Sigma, and Millennium Management were targeted based on observed phishing infrastructure. Action: review and strengthen IT helpdesk verification procedures. Implement callback verification for sensitive account changes. Monitor for phishing attempts using fake IT support personas. Train employees on social engineering tactics targeting cloud platform access. Source: Security Week. Berlin government ministries isolated after breach. Berlin authorities isolated the city's urban development and mobility ministries from government IT networks following a security breach. The measure disrupted email and internet access, forcing employees to use alternative communication channels and delaying several public services while ministries remained disconnected. Source: Checkpoint Research. AI-enabled malware, mostly proof-of-concept. Palo Alto Networks Unit 42 analyzed over 400 malware samples integrating AI and found approximately 97% exist only in sandboxes and on VirusTotal, never reaching production environments. Only 12 samples appeared in Cortex XDR-protected endpoint telemetry, all detected and blocked. The AI component changes how code is authored, not how it executes, allowing existing behavioral detection, cloud-based sandboxing, and endpoint analytics to catch these threats using the same mechanisms that stop conventional malware. Source: Unit 42. Autonomous AI agent exploits GitHub Actions flaw in Snowflake repo. Researchers demonstrated an autonomous AI agent exploiting a GitHub Actions flaw in Snowflake's public repository, gaining read access to the company's internal Jira system and exfiltrating tokens within seconds with no human steering. Snowflake patched the workflow and rotated credentials after the demonstration. Source: Checkpoint Research. 14 Trojanized NPM packages drop Red C24. 0 Linux backdoor. 14 Trojanized NPM packages masquerading as calendar and streak utilities were found delivering Red C24. 0, an AI-powered Linux implant marketed on cybercrime forums as a cross-platform toolkit offering surveillance, credential theft, payload loading, and mass operation capabilities. The version was advertised by threat actor Marlboro Man on hack forums in early June 2026. Source: The Hacker News. 24 NPM packages abuse UnPKG mirrors for click-fix phishing. Researchers disclosed 24 NPM packages used as free phishing infrastructure for redirecting to click-fix style fake CAPTCHA pages. Attackers use NPM mirrors like UnPKG to host malicious HTML files that become live, fully rendered fake Cloudflare CAPTCHA pages on trusted domains. The HTML pages redirect to external attacker-controlled websites, with recent variants using KeyVal API. Keyval.org, a free public key value store, as a dead drop resolver to extract and decode victim redirect URLs. Currently, the remote logic transfers users to the legitimate ChatGPT website, but could be weaponized to deliver click-fix or other phishing domains. Action: monitor for NPM package registrations with minimal legitimate functionality. Lock access to known malicious packages. BGZXQI2, President XEO, Egger 0810, MN Tickets, Erdsticket, Egypt 0811, Passport 811, VXHJKSUAC, ND Mushkek, NDMXCHDJXN2, NDMF Skyhawks 3, MJSDQ Walkvin, M2FCS Fidgcucks, M3FD Fokdone, at worrisome/Rudel, Test, MNDSXQSOK1, MN2 Idsquiox, MN3 Sadquyu, MN4 Xguzvis, MBXCNSOGS1, SKXCM1.2, Mobweefsk3. Monitor UnPKG. Com redirects to external domains. Source: The Hacker News. WeedHack malware spreads via fake Minecraft clients. McAfee Labs detected and blocked more than 6,300 attempts to access malicious sites distributing WeedHack malware to gamers via fake Minecraft clients. Attackers create lookalike gaming websites using SEO poisoning to outrank legitimate sources in Google, Bing, Brave Search, and DuckDuckGo results. One site was built using Lovable, an AI-powered website builder, highlighting how readily available tools lower the barrier for launching convincing malicious sites. Nearly half of malicious URLs were Discord links, 49.6%, followed by Mediafire, 23.4%, and GitHub, 8.2%. Action: educate users to download Minecraft mods only from official sources like GitHub, Modrinth, CurseForge. Block known malicious domains, glazeclient.com, and 9 additional domains. See show notes for the full list. Source: The Hacker News. First malware built for car head units fuels botnet. Kaspersky discovered the first malware specifically designed for car head units on Android-powered aftermarket infotainment systems made by Chinese company Dufan. Attackers exploited a vulnerability in the software update distribution channel to deliver malicious Android applications serving as droppers, loaders, clickers, and reverse proxy loaders. The malware supports 9 commands, primarily used to download a reverse proxy module, suggesting the main goal is enrolling devices in a proxy botnet. The malware is strongly linked to MoU Group, one of several entities previously associated with the Bad Box botnet, which has ensnared more than 10 million Android devices for fraud schemes. Action: if using Do Fun aftermarket infotainment systems, contact vendor for updates addressing the vulnerability. Monitor for unexpected network traffic from vehicle head units. Segment vehicle infotainment systems from sensitive networks. Source: Security Week. Taiwan charges 9 over illegal AI server exports to China. Taiwanese prosecutors charged 9 people, including 1 from NVIDIA and 2 from Supermicro, for illegally exporting high-end AI servers containing B300 graphics processing units to mainland China. 74 servers arrived in China successfully, 50 via Indonesia, 16 direct to China, 8 via Japan then Hong Kong. Another attempt involving 56 servers failed, and the servers remain in Taiwan. Some defendants set up a company in Japan to facilitate transfers and created fake websites with falsified information to evade export restrictions. Source: Security Week. Next section, Patch Priority. Oracle WebLogic Server/HTTP Server Proxy Plugin, CVE 2026-21962, CVSS 10.0, under active exploitation, CIS a KEV deadline August 27. Zimbra Collaboration Suite, CVE 2026-73570, CVSS score not specified, allows unauthenticated RCE, CIS a deadline August 24. GitLab, CVE 2026-19478, CVSS 9.4, unauthenticated code injection, apply out-of-band patches. Keycloak, CVE 2026-18963, CVSS 9.1, password reset bypass allows account takeover, update to 26.7.2. Mini Orange SAML 2. 0. CVE 2026-61979, CVSS 8.1, and CVE 2026-15981. CVSS 9.8, authentication bypass, update to 17.0.6. Next section, Vulnerability Disclosures. Cisco Crosswork and Secure Workload Critical Flaws. Cisco released fixes for 9 critical vulnerabilities affecting Crosswork platforms and secure workload software, including 6 flaws rated CVSS 10.0. The issues include authentication, access control, and file system weaknesses, enabling unauthorized access or system compromise. Source: Checkpoint Research. Citrix NetScaler ADC and Gateway Vulnerabilities. Citrix published patches for CVE 2026-19489 and affecting NetScaler ADC and Gateway. Is a critical authentication bypass, allowing unauthenticated attackers to access appliances configured with SAML authentication. Causes denial of service and 3 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Source: Checkpoint Research. Mini Orange SAML plugin WordPress vulnerabilities under attack. Attackers are targeting CVE 2026-61979, CVSS 8.1, and CVSS 9.8. 2 severe authentication bypasses in the Securify Mini Orange SAML 2. 0 single sign-on plugin, allowing attackers to sign in as any WordPress user including administrators. Stems from signature algorithm confusion. Allows authentication bypass by accepting malformed signatures as valid due to loose Boolean checks on OpenSSL verify return values. The DigitalOcean security team discovered the vulnerabilities after observing an anomalous WordPress administrator session attempt from outside their trusted network. Scanning activity recorded from IPs 207.211.214.41 and 3 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list, and 5 additional IP addresses in the show notes. Action: update Mini Orange SAML plugin to version 17.0.6 or later immediately. Review WordPress administrator login activity for unauthorized sessions. Block scanning IPs listed above. Source: The Hacker News. NASA/JPL AIT GUI critical command execution, flaw. NASA/JPL fixed a critical vulnerability. CVSS 9.4. In the open source AMOS instrument toolkit AIT GUI, enabling unauthenticated command execution through its web console. The flaw allows remote command execution, script launches, and sequence execution. Source: Checkpoint Research. Next section, Trends and Context. The shrinking window between vulnerability disclosure and active exploitation is forcing organizations into emergency patch cycles. CVE 2026-73570, Zimbra, moved from disclosure to CIS a KEV listing in under 2 months, while CVE 2026-19478. GitLab saw exploitation attempts within days of public disclosure. AI is lowering barriers to exploit development, as demonstrated by attacks on Siemens PLCs using AI-generated scripts. Meanwhile, attackers are innovating with unusual C2 channels like FTP banners and NPM mirror abuse to evade detection, while defenders face a safety penalty when frontier AI models refuse legitimate security analysis, requests that attackers executing with unrestricted models never encounter. That concludes today's cyber threat brief. From Carolina Clear Tech, stay patched, stay vigilant.